write a book about the interior life. And if you remember at the beginning when I said we all have different lives, and even people who know us best don't necessarily know everything. If you remember Chekhov's Lady with the Little Dog, do most people know that story? For those of you who don't know that story, it involves a man in midlife who goes to Yalta and meets a lady with a little dog and has an affair with her. And he's had lots of affairs. He's married with children. He's had lots of mistresses. None of them has meant very much to him. They've all been, diversions or distractions from his rather tedious life. But he falls in love, or believes he falls in love with the lady with the little dog. And after they've parted supposedly forever, he can't stop thinking about her, and he goes and tracks her down, and their relationship goes on. And it's Chekhov in a very Chekhovian way. He leaves it in this sort of moment of openness where you think, oh, it's love, this is great, but where will we go, right? And you think, or maybe he will decide next week he doesn't love her and it'll be over, or you think, maybe just depending whether you're an optimist or pessimist. But the point is, there's a moment when he's walking his kid to school and he thinks to himself, because he's thinking all the time about his mistress, and he thinks to himself, how can it be that the thing that matters most to me in my entire life, nobody knows? Absolutely nobody knows about it. And then he has the apprehension, he thinks, that is true for everybody else too. That's true for everybody around me. And I'm always aware of that. That not only is there the Rashomon thing, right, that each of us will leave this room and have a very different impression of what went on here. But the fact that what is most important is beneath the surface and uncommunicated and incommunicable. There's another moment is in Anna Karenina when Levin's brother, the judge, is maybe going to propose the mushroom walk. He's maybe going to propose to Kitty's friend. I think she's called Barbara, and they both think it's going to happen, and then somehow he doesn't propose, and the moment has passed, and they both know he never will. And it's this moment of sort of this huge moment where she thinks she's about to be engaged, and then without a word ever happening, it never breaks the surface. It's over. It's past. It's gone. And so much of our lives, so much of what's most important in our lives, is like that. It never breaks the surface, whether because we don't share it or if it's a shared moment because it's never articulated. And I think that I wanted to try to write about that. And so to come back to that, Nora, this Nora, who that nasty woman from PW thought was so despicable. There was something very ironic to me about that, because this is not the Nora who would ever show herself to the world. And she talks about feeling shame, about being afraid that people don't like her. And lo and behold, she shows herself to the world. And the lady from PW doesn't like her. But as a writer, one of the things that happened when I was writing this book was that because I was embracing the rant thing, because that I was suddenly, I felt completely free in a way I never had. I hadn't realized that I had parameters, that somehow deep in my heart, some little, like the Snow Queen hymns, Christian Andersen, a little ice chip, I had some little chip where some little bit of me wanted approval and wanted people to think well of what I was doing. And I didn't know that chip was there until I didn't have it. And I really felt with this book that my job was to make Nora real, and as real as I could. And then Nora would be in the world, and people would like her, or they wouldn't like her. And that's okay. So that was a great midlife revelation for me.